This is the Edinburgh... No, it's not. What is it? This is... I know what this is. This is the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe. That's what this is. And to my right is a gentleman who has a show up here at the Fringe. Could you tell me your name and your show title, please?
My name is Sam Macgregor, and the show is called Hold the Line.
How are you today, Sam?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So let's talk Hold the Line. What is Hold the Line?
Hold the Line is an autobiographical comedy drama about working in an NHS 111 call centre in East London. And it's based on my current weekend part-time job of working for NHS 111 in East London.
So how does the story come together? What is its origins, and what made you want to say, yes, I will put this into a story?
So, I've worked for NHS 111 since July 2020. And
just a quiet, easy time 2020 in July 2020.
Yeah. So I moved back home with my parents, as I'm sure a lot of people, moved somewhere else. And then got a job working for 111, and then didn't think anything about writing a play. I actually ended up writing another play, which is my debut Fringe play, which is called Truly Madly Baldy, which is about having alopecia. I wrote that in 2020, actually. And then over the years, just basically built up different stories of NHS 111 content, and it was probably only in the last 2 years, I think maybe a year and a half ago, I actually started actually managing to come up with some actual story characters, and then in January 2024 onwards managed to actually start performing it until later in 2024 when I was like, all right, I've got about 50 to 60 pages, let's look to try and get it put on somewhere.
So what are some of the stories that you've heard being an operator on the 111 line?
I mean, I would say, I don't know what percentage, but a large percentage of the time it's stuff like stomach pain, UTIs, dental is a big one. They're quite mundane most of the time. I remember there was a funny story of an old man. He was not old, he was 75, and he masturbated for the first time in a long time. And he really prefaced, he was like, "This is not something I normally do." And then he ejaculated blood, and he was on blood thinners.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, for anyone listening, that is possibly something that could happen. Obviously, I'm not medically trained, so at the time I was listening to the call, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't sound good." He was really worried, and he was like, I need to go to hospital." And I'm like, let's just calm down a bit. I don't think you need to go to hospital. But then also, if you've already made up your mind, then just go then.
Yeah.
I remember finding it... I mean, it's kind of funny, but then also, I mean, it's not funny that he was worried, but
yeah,
it is still a little bit, very peculiar.
Yeah, it's an unusual... It's not the kind of phone call everybody gets.
Absolutely not. I've only ever... it's not happened again. The same type of content hasn't happened time and time again, so that's a very rare one, yeah.
And that's the kind of call where you can't be like, yeah, give it 5 minutes, try again, and let me know what happens.
Well, I mean, that would be good, actually. Be like, try again and see what happens, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's a good one. And this is the thing, there's so many funny stories that haven't been put into play.
Yeah.
There could be another play where it's just funny stories. Because we done a scratch performance of it at Stratford East in London. And we just done 10 minutes. We just done it open in 10 minutes. And then some guy afterwards was like, this should be just a comedy. I think this is a great sitcom idea. And I'm like, I agree, it is a great sitcom idea. But I think I owe it to other things to have some serious bits to it, because the job is quite serious and quite sad sometimes. That's why I felt as well. And then, but there could have just been a totally separate draft where it was just comedy bits.
Yeah. Calls that begin like, okay, listen, I wasn't wearing anything and I fell and
something's gone somewhere.
I fell and what do I do?
Yeah, I mean that's a question where you have to ask somebody like, is there anything? Have you got anything stuck inside your anus basically? And everyone's always like, what? No, and I'm like, I know, but sometimes people don't tell you.
Yeah.
Some people are embarrassed. I mean, especially anything like genital related or anus related. Like it is very personal, quite embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, especially, someone who's taken Viagra and an erection hasn't gone down, that is something that has happened.
It's supposed to last 4 hours, and is it 4 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours is the thing.
Don't ask how I know.
I mean, I don't know. But then, you'll ask someone, have you had an erection for... I mean, this is literally a bit in the play. Have you had an erection for more than 4 hours? And people are literally like, what? No, why are you asking me that? And I'm like, remember, I've got to ask some questions.
Yeah.
You literally start off at work, you start off every call by like, look, got to ask you some questions. They all seem unrelated, but I've got to do it.
Yeah.
And then they forget about that. And then 5 minutes into the assessment, I've asked them like 10 questions, and they're like, sorry, but like, can we just wrap this up? And I'm like, no, there's more.
Yeah. And also, let's not forget, they phoned you. You didn't phone them.
Exactly, that's the thing. I'm just like, remember, like, you know, the more you keep interrupting me and like complaining, you're just going to delay it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got to speak to people professionally and assure them that everything's going to be all right.
Has there been anything that you haven't been able to handle? Maybe not funny, but anything that you've had to kind of put on pause and take a breath and come back?
Well, I mean, obviously, mental health calls are always... I mean, I think that's just quite like the obvious one. Yeah. When I first started working for 111, so I was still training actually. So you have like a coach. So you do like three weeks of full-time training, and then you do exams, and then you do practice calls, and then you go up to the call centre floor. Then you're still having to be coached, and have a coach. Anyway, I've done a first mental health call without any help, and then it was obviously quite full on. I don't really remember specifically what happened, but I remember being a bit like, ugh. And then the coach was like, "Do you want to take a breather?" And I'm like, "No, let's carry on." And then when I got home, my mum asked me how my shift went, and I actually started crying because I was like, I actually dealt with a really upsetting call today, and she was like, "Well, you've got to take time to take these things in. If someone offers you a break, or you don't even need to be offered a break. If you've dealt with a hard call, take a break," which I'll do now, obviously. Those still can be quite upsetting, to be fair, depending on what really the content is or the context of the situation.
Yeah. And I also imagine it's one of those things where if there is a distressing call and you need... do you send ambulances out to people in 111?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily find out what happens?
You don't know anything that happens. I'm very curious in that way. I mean, I'd imagine anyone would. There's been some ones where like it's you know, like there's like a suicide, essentially like a suicidal call, and then afterwards I'm just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to move on. Yeah. Because I can't ask my manager to find out what happened. Which I mean, it's not a shame really. It is what it is. But like, it would be interesting if I could find out, for clarity. Yeah. If that person did get some help. Yeah.
It must feel like, and I don't quite know how to word this, like a constant search for some kind of closure when you have calls, because as we said, you don't find out what happens, so you are left wondering. How does that affect you, and did that make it into the play?
Well, I mean, say like with like closure, if it's a physical symptom of like diarrhea, or if you getting someone to speak to a doctor where you know that with these symptoms they'll speak to a doctor, they'll get prescribed medicine, that's quite like it's essentially a satisfying outcome. Yeah. It's very formulaic and it works. Whereas obviously the mental health one is very much like, kind of like, I guess, a circle of ringing up, speaking to someone, they're okay for a bit, then they're not okay, they ring back, and it's like a cycle, because what they can get access to isn't great, or they have to wait for months. So really, like, in this play, there is a satisfying outcome though. So you don't find out any specifics about what has happened to this patient. I don't want to give too much away because it's a good little scene at the end, but there's a good outcome for this person.
When you were putting it together, was there anything that you wanted to put in which you were like, people will never believe that? That's too wild, one way or the other, sadness or happiness? And how did the show change from what it began with to how it is now?
Well, so basically the play is centered around, not centered, but like this. It started with a patient dying over the phone, and then this call handler, the health advisor, who is me. It's called Gary. It's how he deals with it and the backlash that he gets from the middle management, and how he basically tries to like how he gets back on the phones, and how he tries to not save the day again, but like how does he help someone else when he's kind of thinks he's been responsible for someone dying. So when it came to like writing it, like that was like a scene where I was like, this hasn't happened to me. This is a fictional scene. Things like that have probably happened to someone else. Yeah. So I think really like picking the scenes was just like, I don't know, I was just trying to think of the highest stake possible. Someone doing CPR of the phone. I've not had to do it yet. I feel like it can happen at work. Yeah. But having to do CPR to someone over the phone is quite an unusual situation. So that was something I knew would be in the play. And
when you were putting the show onto the stage, what's the audience's reactions been to it?
Well, when we first did the first scene, so the opening scene, we performed at a scratch night last year. It is quite an upsetting scene. So that was a bit like, oh, people were like, whoa, that was intense, but that was good though. That was a good reaction, to be fair. And we've tried that scene a couple of times at different scratch nights, and then we did the end scene, which is essentially like a call handler. The health advisor ends up singing a song with the patient. The patient's like, can you sing this song with me? Which is quite a bizarre situation. This person's suicidal.
Okay.
And this person's like, can you sing with me? And this guy's like, I don't know, like, but then he realizes, well, actually, all right then, I'll sing with you. So like, that scene when we did that was always quite good. But it was a 5-hander, so I wrote it for 5 people. But then I changed it to a 2-hander. And to be fair, the 2-person cast with multi-rolling is very effective, and it's a lot more like snappy.
Yeah.
And that way, actually, 2 actors get a lot of attention and a lot of like stuff to do. Whereas if it's an hour-long play and there's 5 people on stage, not everyone can get like a character arc or like.
Yeah.
So it's quite tricky. So I thought like rewriting it for 2 was quite good.
And will you keep it the 2-person format going forward? Will you expand it again?
I think probably, because now that we've been, we're kind of nearly halfway into the Fringe now with getting good reviews, getting good coverage. I think now it's like, just keep it the way it is now. I think I wanted to win the Charlie Hartle Award, which is like the Pleasance Theatre's Theatre Award, and we got shortlisted. And the 5-hander was great for that. But then when we actually started rehearsing with the 2 people, and I rewrote it for 2 people, it was like, nah, they actually like, this is much better. It's way more practical. The only thing now I would do is like try and start development into a TV show.
I was going to ask, what is next for it?
Yeah.
Is there a TV show? Is there maybe a novel?
Maybe
a graphic novel?
Graphic novel would be great. That's not something I can do. My friend is good at that sort of thing. But I think my debut play, I developed that into like a 4-part TV show. So it's like, I want to start writing for TV or practicing writing for TV. So I think this show would be great, because it's like Doctors, but not afternoon TV content.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be on a bit later.
Yeah.
But like
Channel
4, yeah, like or like Scrubs.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing, where it's like different call center, different stuff happening every time. I think there's definitely scope for it.
Yeah. Maybe even an audio drama.
Yeah, like absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. Like I think there's all that possibilities there. To be able to do the play again after the Fringe would be great. I mean, again, it's in the works.
Yeah. It's all down the line.
Yeah, it's absolutely, yeah.
Where can people find out more about you on social media?
Well, my Instagram is this isn't a very good Instagram handle, @SamHasAMacG. I'm sure if you just typed in Sam Macgregor, something will come up.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. And then you got Hold the Line Play on Instagram as well. That's all we seem to have at the minute. I mean, kind of deleted Twitter, and I haven't gotten any apps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of the apps, to be honest.
There's so many out there, isn't there?
I'm trying to I'm just like, because I had Facebook and Twitter for over a decade.
Yeah.
And then when I got rid of Facebook ages ago, I was like, right, okay, that's good. Did end up going on Twitter and Instagram more, I will admit it. And then I got rid of Twitter. Now I'm obviously just on Instagram. But the idea is to hopefully get rid of Instagram and then be app-free.
Back in the day, it used to be Facebook and Twitter were the big hitters. Then you had Instagram kind of sneaking up. And now you've got Threads, you've got BlueSky, you've got TikTok.
To be fair, people did say, like, oh, get BlueSky. It was really good in because Twitter in 2023 was really good for my 2023 show. Because creating a buzz about your play online was really good.
Yeah. And
trying to get reviewers interested in coming, it was really good for that. And I'm sure that's probably still the case, but fortunately I had a nice little modelling job in December last year, which has managed to pay for some PR this year.
Wow. Fabulous.
Very nice. I haven't even seen it's for an American Express advert. I have no idea. I don't know where it is, but
it'll be somewhere.
I got paid for it, so that's...
Yeah, as long as the check cleared.
Yeah, the check cleared. I managed to come out. As soon as I'd done that, I was like, okay, let's go to the Fringe.
Yeah, that's a good use of funds.
Absolutely. I'd love to always to do that. I mean, I didn't get paid properly for my NHS job for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I got back pay money, and then that paid for the 2023 Fringe. So I'm always invested in myself.
Yeah. Which is you can never fail if you do that.
Absolutely.
Sam, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Hold the Line is playing at Bunker 2 at Pleasance Courtyard at 4:25 in the afternoon, every day until the 25th of August, not including Monday the 18th. For more information, go to edfringe.com and type in Hold the Line. For the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe, I'm Peter Greenwood, believe it or not. See you next time.